You're listening to Wealthy-esque. We are a community of lawyers who believe that true wealth is having control of our time. I'm Ro Thomas, and as a busy wife, mom, and former Big Law associate, I know all too well the tension between the culture of the legal profession and pretty much everything else you want to do in life. That's why each week I'm bringing you the information and tools you need to improve your money mindset and manage your money to create true wealth. Because ultimately, it's not about the money. It's about the freedom and flexibility the money affords. Hey friend, welcome back to the show. I hope you're doing well and having an amazing day so far. So today we're talking about deprivation, and specifically the idea that you have to deprive yourself to achieve your money goals and manage your money well. People often think money has to be hard or you're not doing it right. You have to cut out all the things, and if you're not being efficient with every single dollar and only doing, quote, responsible things, then you're doing something wrong. And that's not the case at all. But the personal finance space is filled with people telling you that you have to cut until it hurts and you should scrimp and save and you shouldn't go on vacation and you shouldn't be going out to eat unless you're debt free with hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank. And of course, I'm slightly exaggerating there because they don't say the hundreds of thousands of dollars part. But for lawyers who tend to be very type A and think I have to do this thing exactly right or I've failed, we often internalize that and believe that if our money journey isn't matching up exactly with what the money experts say, then we're failing and we're not doing it right. Then we try to willpower our way to paying off debt or saving more or whatever other goal you may have by cutting out all the things and then end up falling off track and beating ourselves up more. And that was kind of my story, not exactly, but definitely the part about thinking I should cut all the things or I'm not doing it right. For those who don't know my story, hey, I'm Ro. Back in 2016, my husband and I realized that we had over $670,000 of debt, almost $500,000 of which was student loans, and we had a negative $342,000 net worth. And before then, we didn't have a budget or anything like that, and we weren't paying much attention to our money. Although we were doing the things that you're supposed to do, like paying our credit cards off in full, maxing out our retirement accounts, saving a little, all that stuff, we were not being intentional. A lot of the money we were making was going to eating out, which is common for a lot of lawyers that I've met and other people in general. Like, I think the majority of the population can probably relate to that. But when we started paying off our debt, I remember having all these thoughts about how we should be doing more, and I would obsess over our budget and look for, how we could cut things more. And one that really stands out, I thought we should have been able to cut our grocery bill more. And I remember having these feelings of guilt when we would do things or spend on something that wasn't, quote, the responsible thing to do. And it felt really bad, and it was not helping us move the needle any faster. I was just making myself miserable in this process that was going to take some time because you don't get into $670,000 of debt overnight, and you definitely don't get out overnight. So I knew that it was going to take some time. But what I was doing with beating myself up every time we did something that wasn't responsible and comparing our story to other people who were further along in their debt journeys, like all of that kind of stuff just was not helpful. And when you tell yourself all these things you can't do if you want to do money right, I can't go to restaurants, I can't go on vacation, I can't go shopping, I can't buy this thing or do that thing. When you think you have to do all this stuff and deprive yourself and you think you have to give up all the things in order to hit your goals, then you're going to end up not doing it at all. Like, you're never going to even get started. Or if you do get started, you might get into a start-stop cycle where you're able to willpower your way through it for a little while, but it's not sustainable because you can only willpower so much. So you have to change your relationship with money and the way you think about money and the way you think about yourself and how you handle money. Because if you don't, then you end up in this back and forth loop of cutting all the things and getting on a budget and then falling off track because you're coming at it from this place of feeling deprived and it's hard and all of that, and then beating yourself up for not doing it right. I often draw parallels between money management and health and fitness, and think about like yo-yo dieting, where people are ready to lose weight and they go on this new diet where they have to cut out a bunch of foods that they really love. You're not going to be able to sustain that forever. And then you feel so miserable not having these things that you enjoy and telling yourself that you can't eat this and you can't eat that. And then you end up eating to feel better. And then you either give up or start the whole cycle all over again. And that approach to health and fitness doesn't work, but it's the same approach that many of us try to take with managing our money or achieving a goal like paying off debt or saving. So instead, think about where you want to be. What goal are you trying to accomplish? And then from there, make your decisions about how you're going to use your money. Maybe you're looking at buying something and it wasn't in your budget this time, so you decide not to buy it now, but you'll put it in the budget for next month. Or maybe you decide to go ahead and buy it now and you make some other trade-off. So maybe you spend less in other areas or decide to make less progress on your goal this month. And by the way, if you don't have a budget, go get a budget. Like, go listen to episode 7 and episode 17. I talk all about how to put together a budget and why budgeting is important. But either way, whether you decide to buy the thing now or wait, recognize that it's always a choice. You're making particular choices to get to where you want to be. So rather than, I can't buy this thing, I can't spend here, I can't do that, it's, I'm choosing not to buy this thing because I'm choosing to do this other thing with my money. I'm choosing not to spend as much going out to eat so that I can direct that money to paying off more debt. I'm choosing not to go on as big of a vacation or go on as many vacations so that I can direct that money to building my savings. And when you look at it as a choice that you're making for yourself and the future you want to have, you take the deprivation out of it. And notice that I'm not saying cut out going to restaurants altogether, cut out all the vacations. Like, we went on plenty of vacations and still went out to eat and all of that over the last 5 years, even as we paid off $500,000 of debt. But we were very intentional about how we did it, as opposed to what we were doing before, which was just spending and not really paying attention to how much we were spending and whether our spending was taking us off track from our goals. You can do the things you want to do and still make progress on your goals if you want to. You just have to plan for them. And if you don't want to and decide you would rather use the money to make progress on your goals and not spend on these other things, that's fine too. But the point is, you're much more likely to stick with whatever your plan is when you look at it as a choice you're making to make the future you want a reality, as opposed to, I'm deprived, I can't buy this, I can't do that, look at what they're doing, I should be doing that too. No one is making you have the money goals you have. No one is making you, quote, deprive yourself. No one is making you not go to restaurants or not go shopping or not go on vacation. You can do all those things if you want to. You are making choices for your life, and you have to decide whether it's more important to you to achieve this goal faster or to spend this money on this thing, this experience, whatever. But it's completely up to you. Deprivation is always a mindset. It's the way that you're looking at your situation. So you may be making certain choices to help you achieve a goal, but if you look at those choices as deprivation, it's never going to work because it's not sustainable. So just recognize that you always have a choice. No one is forcing you to do anything. But if you do envision a future for yourself where you feel peace about your finances and you've achieved your goal, whether it's paying off debt, building your savings, or even building your money confidence, I can help you get there. So head to rothomas.com/call and let's set up a consultation to talk about your situation and how I can help. All right, so that is it for this week's episode. Come connect with me over on social media. I'm at IamRoThomas on Instagram and RoThomas on LinkedIn. Please take a second to subscribe to the show on whatever platform you're listening on. Leave me a review And also share the show with a friend or two you think would enjoy it. And if you share on social media, make sure you tag me. Okay, as we close out, friend, I pray that you recognize that everything you do or don't do with your money is a choice you're making. I pray that you make intentional decisions about how to use your money to achieve your goals and do the things you enjoy. And as always, I pray that you will continue to take steps to regain control of your time, build wealth, and live the life of freedom and choice you deserve. Talk to you later.